Week 17 matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-7 going into this matchup. They need to win this game and have the Tennessee Titans lose to the Houston Texans this Sunday and able to clinch their spot in the NFL playoffs. And the Baltimore Ravens already have home field advantage throughout the playoffs locked up. They already have the number 1 seed. So really, this game is pretty much meaningless to them. Now, make sure, before I continue on, that you, 1, hit that like button. 2, hit that subscribe button because I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. And 3, share this video with your friends, your family, acquaintances, people you work with, co-workers, all that good stuff on your social media pages because it helps spread the word of the channel and it helps the channel grow. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to be facing the Baltimore Ravens team that is going to be benching most of their key players. Earl Thomas isn't playing, Mark Ingram isn't playing, and Lamar Jackson isn't playing. Now, you would think that the Pittsburgh Steelers pretty much have a guaranteed W. Well, that's not the case, and here's why. We know how good the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is, but the question is, can this Pittsburgh Steelers offense score some points on this Baltimore Ravens defense? That's the question. And it doesn't even matter if they decide to bench Earl Thomas. It doesn't matter if the Baltimore Ravens bench some of their best players on the defense side of the ball, because the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has just been that terrible this season. Now, it's a lot of words, a lot of provocative words I could use to describe the performance of this Pittsburgh Steelers offense and how bad they performed. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at what this Pittsburgh Steelers offense needs to do and able to have success against the Baltimore Ravens defense and have a chance to win this game. So, what the Pittsburgh Steelers have did when they were on that winning streak, when Devlin Hodges, a.k.a. Duck Hodges, was the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is going to be the starting quarterback going into this game because Mason Rudolph is injured. So, when we look back at what the Pittsburgh Steelers did on offense to win games with Duck Hodges when they were on that winning streak, you notice that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they had a conservative game plan. They weren't trying to throw the ball down the field with Duck Hodges. Duck Hodges was taking what the defense was giving him, and he was very accurate when it came to completing short and intermediate passes. Now, what the Pittsburgh Steelers did after that, since they went on this losing streak, losing to Buffalo and losing last week to the Jets, is that now they're trying to throw the ball a lot more down the football field. And that's not part of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense right now. Now, typically, this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, with the personnel and all the talent they have, is built to push the ball down the field. But Devlin Hodges isn't the quarterback for the Steelers that fits the scheme that he can really push the football down the field. That's not his strength. His strength is throwing intermediate and short passes. So when the Pittsburgh Steelers are able to have success throwing the football short and just digging and dumping their way down the field and running the ball when they need to, they have a lot of success. But when you're asking Duck Hodges to throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field, that's when you're starting to ask for trouble. And over the last couple of weeks, we've seen teams force Pittsburgh on the defensive side of the ball. They force Pittsburgh in this offense with Duck Hodges to throw the ball more than 20 yards. They say, hey, you're not going to beat us just throwing 5-yard and 3-yard dump ball passes. We're going to force you to throw the football down the field. And a lot of struggles with Duck Hodges has came when he's been forced to throw the football down the field. That's when we see a lot of mistakes. So, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you need to try to get back to what you were doing when you were on that long winning streak. Before you end up going on this 2-game losing streak, you got to be able to run the football, play keep away, play the field position battle, and throw short passes. Don't try to get it all in one place. Stop trying to throw the ball down the field, because Duck Hodges obviously isn't the best quarterback when it comes to pushing the ball down the field. So if you're the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you need to call this game how you were 2 weeks prior to this losing streak, 2 weeks prior to that Buffalo game. You need to find ways to have success in the short passing game. And really, Pittsburgh, with the guys they have at the wide receiver position, you really don't need to throw the football deep. There's really no reason to push the football down the field unless the defense is biting, and then you catch the defense lacking or napping on a couple of plays, and you get a couple of deep passes like what happened in that Cleveland game and things like that. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they really don't need to force the ball down the field. They have talented enough wide receivers that can make things happen with the ball in their hands off short passes. Like Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster. Those guys are really good with catching the ball and making a lot of things happen with the yards after catch. So if you're Pittsburgh, you really don't need a good reason to throw the ball down the field. You really just need to check the ball off, play dink and dump all day with this Baltimore Ravens defense with all these second strings that they're probably going to be having in, and run the football effectively. Now, we don't know the stats of James Conner going into this game. He's questionable going into this game, but Jalen Samuels, I think, will be a pretty good option. Benny Snell has been pretty good as well. So, I mean, look, Pittsburgh, for them to win this game on the offensive side of the ball, I don't think it's really that hard. Do what got you to this point, right? And what got Pittsburgh to this point is playing conservative, playing the field position battle, right? Taking what the defense gives you, not trying to take a lot of shots down the field. That's kind of what has punished Pittsburgh over the last couple of weeks, is them trying to throw the football down the field. And although this offense is equipped to throw the football down the field, you don't necessarily have the proper quarterback that fits this offense to push the ball down the field. So if you're Pittsburgh, you need to take what the defense gives you, take a lot of short dink and dump passes. Now for the defense is obviously going to have to be able to help out this offense and try to force a couple of turnovers. And that's what teams are starting to realize, right? If you want to beat the Steelers, just make sure you don't turn the football over and don't get the Pittsburgh Steelers extra opportunities on offense. Force Pittsburgh's offense to drive the length of the field and score and try to sustain some drives. So if you're Pittsburgh's defense, you need to force some big turnovers. You need to force some game-changing turnovers. And most likely, it's not going to be the ones that gets the ball back to the offense, because obviously that's not going to help. It's the ones that, you know, pretty much has like a 20, 30-yard return on it and puts the Pittsburgh Steelers in the opposing team's territory. So the Pittsburgh Steelers defense needs to be able to create turnovers and also have a couple of yards off those turnovers and put Pittsburgh in good field position so they have a good chance of scoring. Now, for the Baltimore Ravens, you got Robert Griffin III, and you're pretty much going to have Gus Edwards at the halfback position. Now, RG3 is similar to Lamar Jackson in terms of what he's able to do. That's why he is still the backup quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, because if Lamar Jackson was to go down, RG3 would be able to come in and fill in because they kind of have similar skill sets. Now, Lamar Jackson is a lot more polished of a passer than RG3, but they both can do similar things, which is why the Baltimore Ravens have RG3 as their backup. Now, for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, you got an RG3 who is okay as a passer, and he's pretty good as a runner. You got a Baltimore Ravens offense that's still going to be able to run the football effectively. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you need to be able to take away the run and force this Baltimore Ravens offense to push the ball down the field with Robert Griffin III. So that's the game plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers going into this game. It's not really that much complicated. And really, Pittsburgh, you think Pittsburgh will be able to walk out here and have an easy W, but that's simply not the case because that offense is just so tumultuous, and the play from the offense has just been so downright bad that you can't really expect a lot of this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, despite the fact that the Baltimore Ravens are benching most of their starters on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the football. So when you go back to earlier in the season when these two teams played, that's pretty much Pittsburgh's best performance on the offensive side of the ball was when these two teams played near midway of the season. And they lost because of the Juju Smith-Schuster fumble. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have a good opportunity to win this game. The question that it all comes down to, it comes to execution. Can these Pittsburgh Steelers players execute on offense? And can Duck Hodges, are we going to get the Duck Hodges that we saw before the Buffalo Bills game that was doing what was asked and not trying to have all these big plays, not trying to force the football down the field? Are we going to get the Duck Hodges that we saw the last couple of weeks that's been turning the football over and hasn't really been able to move the football down the field all that well? Because with Duck Hodges, they're moving the ball down the field. Let me refrain from that. They can move the ball down the field, but he turns the ball over when they get inside the red zone and things like that. So he has to be cautious with the ball, Don't try to force anything that isn't there, and be smart. And Pittsburgh's defense, once again, is probably going to have to end up getting a couple of stops and forcing a couple of takeaways. So obviously the team that I'm going to take to win this game, I'm taking Pittsburgh to win this game, because look, there's no way you can tell me that Pittsburgh should lose this game with the Baltimore Ravens losing their benching their starters and literally giving the Pittsburgh Steelers an early Christmas present, trying to help the Pittsburgh Steelers make it to the playoffs. Because look, this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, I don't even trust them, right? I trust his defense, because this defense is going to be facing a second string offense for the most part, and this defense should be able to force a couple of takeaways and give back the ball to the offense with some good field position. So I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. 17-10 is my final score prediction. So let me know who you guys have winning this game down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.